Dear students, I welcome you all for the online learning for the course Warehousing Automation. So now we are learning about the unit 3 in due process. We'll now discuss about the next topic. The next topic is cost analysis. So cost analysis is one particular area which has to be focused for a not for a shorter while, for a long tenure, so that the organization goes for the next level. Okay, so that has to be very carefully thought of. See, whatever the activity we do at the end of the thing, we are going to narrow down to one particular point called as profit or loss. So this has to be very carefully thought of for the next case. Okay. Now cost analysis. What does this particular term cost analysis is going to deal with? In warehouse or in the context of a warehouse, it involves identifying, measuring and managing the various expenses associated with warehouse operations. See, we do different tasks in a warehouse. Okay. So we need to identify the cost incurred for each and every process. So for identifying, we need to identify what all are the costs involved. We need to measure the amount what we are spending onto it, and we need to manage the various expenses. Why the term manage means some cases it might be a crucial part where we will not be spending sufficient, or on the contrary, for an unwanted thing we might be spending too much. So both the cases we are supposed to manage in a very effective case. Okay, a thorough analysis supports budgeting, performance measurement and cost control. So these three things are very essential. We should have a proper budget. It should not be an underestimated one, as well as it should not be an overestimated one. Then the performance measurement and the cost control. Unnecessary cases we should control the cost. So this is what the core essential of cost analysis. Now we'll see the elements. What all are the elements in a warehouse? What all are the costs we can encounter in the due course? The first is storage costs, then second labor costs, the third depreciation costs. Okay, this might be a new term. We'll discuss about this. Inventory carrying costs, order fulfillment costs, maintenance and miscellaneous, and finally transportation. So when you carefully analyze this diagram, so you can see two peaks at the either end of the diagram. That is, the first is storage cost. See, storage cost is very huge as far as warehouse is considered. And finally, transportation is also considered to be huge. So transportation means not within the warehouse. So you should make this particular point very clear. Not within the warehouse, it is outside the warehouse. So within the warehouse is going to be inventory carrying costs. That is intrabound logistics. Then storage costs. So as far as the product is idle within the warehouse, yes, we are going to incur loss. At the same case, we are supposed to carefully preserve and maintain the part. Why? Because it should not get deteriorated or degraded with respect to time. So storage cost and transportation cost are quite essential. So here we have got different mechanisms to overcome, but how about the other things? So this has to be thought of very scrupulously in a very crucial case. So labor cost. So this is where our physical process automation comes into picture. Why? Because as a labor is supposed to undergo fatigue, and as a result we may not be getting the expected results. So therefore labor cost is going to be one crucial cost. And other important thing is accident risk assessment that we'll learn in the upcoming slides. So risk assessment is going to be another important as well as crucial task. So that has to be carefully considered. And next, depreciation. So depreciation is one particular category. Any material when you buy and when you travel with respect to time, the value of the product is going to reduce gradually. Though you use the product or you do not use the product, still the value is going to be reduced. So that is what is depreciation. This is theoretical, and practical is the product will definitely undergo wear and tear, and the compensation cost for the wear and tear is called as depreciation. So inventory carrying cost. So within the organization, we are supposed to maintain the part, not the storage. Okay. Within the thing, we are supposed to say if a part comes, that has to be carefully inspected, then it has to be kept into the appropriate position. And similarly, and before delivery, that has to be taken, it has to be pre-delivery inspection has to be carried out. So such things are going to be the component of inventory carrying cost. So order fulfillment cost, we are giving the information to the user that your product is so and so. So here it has come. So these all are the activities what we are doing. So likewise, all things has to be told to the customer. So for that we are going to incur some costs. Then last but one is maintenance and miscellaneous. So these are unavoidable and these are inevitable into the process. They are the part and parcel of the process. So therefore, routine scheduled maintenance as well as some miscellaneous sudden expenses might be there. So those things accumulate under this heading. So cost category. So we'll see one by one in a one particular table. So the first is descriptions or examples. Against each things we'll see. So first category is storage. So under storage, we can see rent is obviously rent is obvious, utilities, property taxes and insurance. Labor, wages, benefits, temporary staff or any labor on a daily casual basis, yes, they will be considered. Equipment and depreciation. So all the physically moving part will undergo wear and tear. So for that we should have some recovery costs. So forklifts, conveyors, shelvings, repairs. Technology. Warehouse management system software, when we go purchase, some subscription has to be paid for it. So barcodes, when you go ahead, yes, some emitters, some barcode printers. So likewise the necessary accessories here. RFIDs, yes, we need to buy the tags and everything. So for that we need to spend. IT support for all these categories falls under technology. Inventory carrying, capital, insurance, obsolescence. Obsolescence means outdated. So some products might have been outdated, so we need to change them. So for that we need to again consider some things. Shrinkage. Okay. Then order fulfillment, picking, packing, shipping, returns. The main core focus is going to be the order fulfillment. Maintenance and miscellaneous, we should have security, cleaning, supplies and compliance with respect to government regulations. And finally transportation, inbound, outbound, freight, delivery charges, everything. So these all are the possible costs what we can incur under the various headings in a warehouse. Now, what all are the factors which significantly affect the cost? Means the first is warehouse size, location and type. So warehouse size, yes, once the size is elaborate, obviously the maintenance with respect to power consumption or anywhere it is going to be on the higher end. Location of the warehouse, when we are located on a prime area, the rent will be obviously high. And the type, automated versus manual. So manual means number of men being employed will be high, so we need to pay high for them. Automated means marginally it will be low, however the initial investment will be high. So likewise we need to consider all. Inventory volume and turnover rate. So the volume, how much we handle, so that is going to be crucial rate, and what is the turnover we make out of it. Staffing efficiency and technological adoptions, another important part, and types of products and their storage requirements. So this is another crucial aspect which we need to consider, and altogether they directly affect the factors with respect to cost analysis. Now, how to control them? Control strategies has to be known. So streamline the inventory management to reduce carrying costs and prevent overstock or stock out units. Okay. So we know our requirement. So within the requirement, we should plan in a very significant case. Optimize the warehouse layout and use vertical storage system to manage space. So this we have been discussing right from carousels, where rather than area utilization, we should think of volume utilization, and that's where the core agenda or one of the objectives of warehouse automation is all about. Automate repetitive tasks and process when feasible. So that's where we go for automation. We wanted to change the repetitive or mundane tasks into an automatic activity by adoption of some technology. Cost analysis and control strategies. So the next important thing is regularly review supplier and utility contracts for cost savings. So we can explore the items not with respect to cost cutting. So don't get confused with respect to cost cutting and cost saving. Cost saving is a different part and cost cutting is a different part. So our aim is to save the cost. Okay. Train staff and improve efficiency and reduce errors. So though we have got very good systems, unless and otherwise they are not proficient in the systems, no, we are unable to get the expected results. So that has to be thought of. Explore outsourcing or use of 3PL. So please understand this part. 3PL, often this comes in a warehouse category, or you develop your career in this regard. So 3PL plays a very crucial role. So 3PL is none other than third-party logistics. Don't have our own logistics, rather than depend or tie up with some regular logistics guys. So here this plays a crucial role inside a warehouse automation. So rather than our own logistics, we can try for some other third-party logistics providers if operationally and financially justified. Okay, not for all the cases. If it is applicable for us, we will think of. Okay. So now we are on the final slide of the presentation. So summary. So to summarize this presentation, so we discussed about the cost analysis. The cost analysis is nothing but an extension of feasibility analysis under the finance feasibility. Now any warehouse we wanted to go ahead with, we should go ahead with respect to the cost analysis, that is revenue as well as the expense what we incur on operation of the thing should have a very good correlation. If there is no correlation, obviously the project itself is going to be a failure one. So therefore we are focused on to the cost part. So we discussed about the different possible costs, what can be encountered in a warehouse, and finally we discussed about the control strategies. What all are the different mechanisms we can adopt in order to control it. So with this we come to the end of the presentation. So as usual, any doubts kindly students note it down. We'll discuss during our offline class. So with this we finish the second chapter, cost analysis in unit 3. Thank you all.